Boom! Oh, 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 oh. All right, guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness, and welcome to my review for Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. This one was released in 1995. It is starring Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. No, I am not fucking kidding. And was directed by Kim Henkel. Now, do not let the demeanor fool you. I am absolutely happy to be back. Happy to be back from the break. Nice, long, relaxing break. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. And I did too. I got to spend time with my family, you know, albeit not under the best circumstances in the world, but you know what? We made it work and we had a good fucking time. And that's what it's all about, man. It's about perseverance. You know, you got to work through the hard times, and that is no different with this channel. You know, I love doing this. It's a blast, man. This is my fucking dream. I hope one day it can be my dream job. But, you know, that'll all come when it comes. But, you know, you got to persevere with everything in life, you know? And when I realized that I had to watch The Next Generation twice, 2 times, you know, that's when you put the big boy pants on, man. That's what that separates the men from the boys, baby, because now, you know, anyone else could say, oh, well, I've already sat through it once. You know, maybe I'll just look up some Cliff Notes. Not me, man. Not Alex. Not Days of Darkness. No fucking way, dude. I want to have this movie fresh in my mind, and I want to be boiling with rage to talk about this. So yeah, man, I sat down and I watched this a second time. And, you know, sometimes upon a second viewing, you can find a better appreciation for certain films. No. No. It was just as bad, if not fucking worse. You know, this is one of those movies that screams low effort. Extremely low effort. You know, I know we all know the story of how this movie initially wasn't even going to be released, but then, you know, Renee Zellweger blew up, which good for her. And, you know, the studio was like, oh, we can make some real money off this. So then they went to release it. Matthew McConaughey's agents were like, hey, don't fucking do that, please. And they did anyways, and yada, yada, yada. Maybe I have some little nerdy details out of that. If you want to let me know that I'm wrong, go ahead and comment down below. But yeah, then we ended up getting the 4th installment in this already extremely fucking broken film series. And, you know, I think back to that, and I'm like, man, that original Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, to me, is a fucking masterpiece. I love that movie. I adore that movie. And to see how in only 3 films we have fallen so far. Like, at this point, there has not been a good Texas Chainsaw sequel. There just hasn't been at this point. It's like, god damn. It's rough, man. You know, as a kid, the only exposure I had to this movie was, you know, I was familiar with the first one. I had watched the first one. I had loved the first one, but I hadn't watched any of the sequels. Couldn't really tell you why. Maybe I just didn't have access to them, didn't have interest, whatever. But I'm flipping through the guide on my, you know, on cable or whatever. I didn't know what I have, Dish Network, DirecTV, fucking whatever, one of those. And I'm going through the menu, and I eventually happen upon Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. And, you know, little curious Alex, I'm like, oh, wow, what's that? And the moment I clicked on it, it was as if the horror gods were basically letting me know, hey, fucking run. Run away as fast as you can. Because within the first 2 minutes of me watching this movie for the first time on cable, I'm not kidding. I think it was like 2 minutes. I get that amazingly awful fucking Leatherface screech. This scream that, "Ah!" And I was just like, nope. And I fucking turned it off and I went and watched whatever the fuck, you know. Young Alex was smarter than old Alex because young Alex said, I do not have time for this. And old Alex is doing YouTube. I'm joking. I'm gonna have a lot of fun ripping this apart, but good God, this was a chore to sit through, man. Let's just get right into it. So, let's start with these fucking characters, man. I've said it once, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. I am well aware that not every slasher film is gonna have super fucking compelling characters. Not every movie can have that. I've coined the phrase Scorsese level writing, you know. But I do ask for characters to at least be entertaining. I will always go to in my opinion, the fucking, what's the word? You know, well, I'll just say one of the best slasher films of all time, Friday the 13th Part 4, you know? And you look at those characters, they're not super in depth, you know, there's nothing about them that's like, there's no deep characters there. There really isn't. But at least they're fucking entertaining. And there's something you can latch onto with each of them. And they're not just boring cardboard cutouts of teenagers just waiting to get killed. That's what's in this movie, dude. There is nothing about these characters that feel inspired. There's no effort put into the writing of them. I don't like being mean, but the acting is not good from a good amount of them. Even Renee Zellweger. And, you know, I know how good of an actress she is. Obviously, she's blown up since then, and she's become a very successful actress. And good for her. I don't know if this was just a rough day at the office, or more than likely was a direction problem. Bland. Just nothing happening for any of them. And it's like, what? It's crazy to me. To go from some pretty fucking kick-ass performances in the original, and now we're here. It's like, holy fuck. But, you know, we open up on prom night, and the jock is cheating on his ditzy girlfriend, and then they're two, I don't even know if they're friends, but they're friends stowaway in the back seat, and then they're all driving down the road set up. There you go. To go into a little more detail, the opening 5 minutes of this movie should tell you everything you need to know. Dreadful dialogue, dreadful characters. There's some character interactions within the first couple minutes of this movie where I'm just like, huh? Like, it's already going off the fucking wall, man. Some of the performances from even like side characters and shit, you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Shout out to the one guy who's like in the parking lot in the opening, though. And he's like, he says something and you just hear him go, and I fucking hate kids. Like, that actually kind of made me laugh. But other than that, that's like, I love the that spooky, creepy camera sound effect being reduced to the sound effect for the prom photos. It's like, really, man? Like, that's how far even that iconic sound has fallen to where now it's just like, I'll just fucking throw it in there. Whatever, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Fuck you, man. God, I hate this movie. But yeah, so they get in this car accident. This kid passes out. And that's when I noticed something that really carries for the rest of the film that really annoys me about these protagonists. Yeah, obviously they're boring and bland and nothing happening. But the way they react to very dire situations is just totally off. Very weird reactions from these characters. It's almost like they weren't given any proper direction. Either that or they just didn't give a fucking shit. Because, I mean, they react to some pretty dire shit. And there's other moments later on in the film where they're in fucking peril. Like, they're in serious danger. And they're barely reacting to anything. It's so fucking bizarre. You know, you have these maniacs who are doing all these awful things, and you're just not, just whatever, just casual. Like, I'm not kidding. It's that level. It's like, oh, yeah. Whatever, man. Speaking of these fucking villains that the protagonists interact with, my God. First of all, I've noticed that they're now, in this one at least, they're the Slaughter family, which not sure where they got that, but, you know, I feel like they just pulled a lot of shit out of their ass for this movie, so whatever. But yeah, so they end up, you know, running into the Slaughter family, and my God, dude, we have the one fucking guy who just recites quotes. You know, the first quote he does within the movie, I'm not going to pretend to remember it, but I remember being like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of fun. Like, that's fun that he, you know, had that little line. But that's just his thing. That's just what he does. He's just constantly quoting stuff. And it's fun the first time, but then when he is in, with every scene he is in, he does like some sort of stupid fucking quote or some dumb, it's like, God, man. Like, really? Like, that's, you know, after he did it for like the third time, I'm like, oh, that's just gonna be his thing, isn't it? That's just gonna be what he does. So yeah, he's pretty much fucking dog shit. We get the lady Slaughter, Sawyer, whatever, in the film, who, you know, she's the character who they end up going to for help, because this movie is not capable of doing anything fucking original, but she's the one who poses as a good guy and ends up being a member of the family. And, you know, I will say there's some room for intrigue here, because this is the first time where, like, a lot of the Sawyers, Slaughters, whatever, to this point have been, you know, men, and they're always, you know, actually, you know, Viggo Mortensen's character was pretty fucking attractive, so I guess I can't say that. But, you know, this is the first time we have a woman in this role, and I think there's a lot of intriguing things that could be done with that. But no, she's just, and it's not even a twist, because she's already acting fucking weird. Like, she's flashing these fucking high school boys, and which is fucking creepy, you know, looking at that with a modern lens. I mean, it was creepy back then too, don't get me wrong, but she's just already acting very fucking weird, just the way she's speaking with these kids, and just already an oddball. So when she inevitably does, you know, reveal herself to be a fucking villain, it's like, well, fucking duh. She has some cool moments in the movie, I guess. You know, I guess besides Matthew McConaughey's character, she has the most potential to be interesting, but just bogged down by a lot of very poor writing and questionable direction, and yeah, just overall not a very good character. Has potential to be really cool. Like, there's a lot you can do with like a very attractive woman who ends up being a member of this insane family, but there's a lot more going with the villains in this movie, so just bear with me. Let's just talk about Leatherface real quick, man. So, you know, the common thing I hear as a complaint with this version of Leatherface is, you know, the way he looks at the end of the movie, where he is dressed very noticeably in drag, and that's not really my issue. You know, Leatherface, even in the first movie, has always shown an interest in, like, wearing women's makeup, and kind of at one point he takes on the like a more of a grandmotherly appearance in the movie, and like that's not abnormal. I think it looks like dog shit. I think it totally like does a disservice to the Leatherface character visually, because obviously he's wearing severed skin, and so obviously it's not gonna look as fucking pristine as it does in this movie. It just looks like he's wearing fucking prosthetics, essentially. Like, it's just horrid looking, and not in the way they were intending either. My issue is just the overall portrayal of the character. Like, what the fuck are they thinking? Honestly, like, this whole movie's offensively bad, but like that aspect of it, and I feel like I'm being a total snob, but good God, this movie just needs a fucking lashing. As if it hasn't already been getting it for the past however many years. But, man, this fucking portrayal of this character is the worst. We've had some questionable ones already to this point. But, man, this one just... I think... Obviously, the thing people will go to first is the screaming. And that is obviously a very noticeable poor part of this character. Just constantly. And you probably hated just hearing me do that. Imagine hearing that the entire time this character is on screen. Because that is what you hear every time this fucking character is on screen. And any sort of conflict of any sort happens. It's just... not good. They totally did a disservice to that original character and what made Leatherface so appealing. Now he's just a horrendously annoying man-child who just screams all the time and he grabs people. And I think Leatherface only kills one person in this movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not willing to go back and check. I'm pretty sure he just kills the douchebag with the hammer in this movie in a very unoriginal kill. Which, before we get to the one good-ish character in the movie, let's talk about that real quick. This movie is hopelessly unoriginal in every form and facet. There is not a single, okay, I'm not going to act like it's a frame-for-frame remake. That's not what I fucking mean. Come on. But... when you have the hammer kill, you have a woman being hung up on a fucking meat hook, you have a woman jumping out of the fucking, out of the top window of a house, of the Sawyer slaughterhouse, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves in this one. You have Leatherface doing the fucking dance in the middle of the road at the very end of the movie. You have a fucking dinner scene. It's like... you have Grandpa, who's just there, and I'm pretty sure he just gets up and walks away. That's the last we get of him, because it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, so let's just put Grandpa in there. It's like, this is the fourth film of a fucking completely broken franchise with continuity. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about Grandpa being here when he was dead in the third one. This series has nothing to do with continuity. That's just not a thing until this, like, at this point in the series. But just to be hopelessly unoriginal, to not have a single cool, innovative twist on this franchise. Now, I know I say that, and there's obviously a very, very big twist in this franchise, but you know what I'm talking about. Just hopelessly just stealing shit from the original. I know they had the rights to the original content. I can't imagine they didn't. But it's like to just blatantly copy it. It's like, god damn, man. Anyways, just really quickly wanted to get that in. So then we have the one good-ish character in this movie, and that is Vilmer. And yeah, I even remembered his name. Look at that. That should tell you something. Matthew McConaughey's character. Is this character absolutely fucking outrageous? Yeah. Yes, indeed. He is very, very off the wall, very nutso, very crazy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This guy, he's got the fucking mechanical leg brace that he controls with various different remotes, and to say that he is overacting in this movie would be an understatement. At the same time, I I kind of like the character, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think Matthew McConaughey saw this as an opportunity to just go absolutely fucking nuts. I need to stop putting my hand in frame like that. I apologize. I think he saw this as an opportunity to just go absolutely fucking crazy, and he did. And he like, I gotta say, he's pretty fucking entertaining in this movie. As absolutely nuts as he is the one part of this movie that keeps this movie from being just the worst fucking piece of shit of all time. I really do think he does a lot of good for this movie. I think that character, as crazy as it is really fun. And I was thinking while watching this, I'm like, man, if because I don't think we've ever, besides this, I don't think we've ever seen Matthew McConaughey in that light of being just this absolutely raving fucking lunatic. And I was like, man, if we could get him in a role, even now, and he's a little older now, obviously, but if we could get him in a role like that and just take the cuffs off, maybe not this fucking crazy, but have that spirit, I think that would be an all-timer fucking performance. I really do. It's just unfortunate that performance is bogged down by this absolutely fucking dog shit movie. And it's a shame, Obviously, I'm sitting here and clowning all the absolutely horrendous shit that this movie has. That's probably the biggest offense out of all of them, is that you have a pretty solid, albeit absolutely crazy performance from this very well-known actor, and no one ever talks about it because it's like it's just no one wants to watch this piece of shit fucking movie. It's a shame, man. That's probably the biggest offense of this movie for me, is like there's a pretty good performance, but no one wants to talk about it. And I don't blame them because this movie sucks. But yeah, I guess if you're going to take anything away from this, let's get Matthew McConaughey in a serial killer role or something like that, because I think he'd be fucking magnificent. Maybe he has done another thing like this, and I'm just not a big enough Matthew McConaughey fan, so please let me know. But to my knowledge, I don't think we've ever seen him in anything like this since this movie, which I can kind of understand him wanting to avoid horror after this. But anyways, so let's get into this whole this whole secret society, Illuminati, weird cult, whatever the fuck you want to call them. The twist of this movie being that the Slaughter or Sawyer or whatever family are being basically manipulated by this secret society of sadists. What? Where the fuck did that come from? I've heard some people say that, it's supposed to be a commentary on like horror fans and how we're always wanting something more extreme. I just think it's a pointless fucking twist. Honestly, I didn't get that at all. And if that was the intention, then they did not do a fucking good job of portraying that at all. It's just this out of nowhere, completely unearned fucking twist that's not even interesting. It's not even done well. It's just this, the lady Sawyer just casually brings it up. And yep, there you go. That's your twist. And then the guy eventually pulls up in the limousine, and It's just, I want these people to understand the true meaning of horror. And he licks her face, and it's like, what? It's just, again, what the fuck are they thinking, dude? Like, I just don't fucking get it. But yeah, that's about all the energy I want to put into that. And honestly, I think I've pretty much said everything I need to say. This movie is abysmal, man. And again, I don't like being purely negative, but good God, there's just not anything in this movie that I can really see wanting to go back and view, except like the couple, moments with Vilmer and him just being an absolute fucking lunatic. Besides that, I don't think I'm ever going to pop this in again, unless, for some reason Mrs. Darkness is all of a sudden, wanting to run through the Texas Chainsaw movies. And in that case, I still don't know if I'm going to show her this, because I love my fiance and I don't fucking want her to have to endure this. But yeah, man, so after this, the original, Texas Chainsaw series kind of comes to an end and just crashes and burns. And I really quickly just wanted to again say how crazy these first 4 movies are. Like, if you were to own, I mean, obviously I own all of them, but to just have this original masterpiece and then immediately, like right out of the fucking gate, just go down and down and down in quality. It's like, wow. It's just fucking crazy to me, man. Thankfully, the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie we have to talk about is the 2003 remake, which I have much better things to say about, but we will get there when we get there. But for right now, we gotta get into my kill of the film, if you even want to fucking call it that. So without further ado, let's do that. I totally botched that fucking kill of the film intro. Fuck. No intro. I hate this movie. So, this movie's pretty fucking bloodless, pretty goreless. There's no real graphic violence to be had in this movie at all, which is a big shame, because, like, and I know people will say, oh, the original didn't have any blood in it. Like, yeah, but the original also was a fucking fantastic movie, and it could afford to not have any blood in it. This movie is a pile of fucking dog shit, so the least you could give me is some memorable kills, but you can't even fucking do that right. So, whatever. Yeah, man. So, can you tell I don't like this movie? Just some very forgettable shit. A lot of it is, honestly, like with the ditzy girl's very prolonged death, very confusing. Like, at one point, Vilmer, we are led to believe, bites her nose off, but then she just has a little, I guess it's like a little chunk out of her nose, and then he sets her on fire, and then they put her out. And then we just don't see her anymore. So I'm like, is she dead? We get the very original kill with the, Leatherface crushing the dude's head with the hammer, and a very very significantly worse version of that kill. He kind of does the seizure, and his eyes are like super like wide open, like, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, awful. I guess kill of the film for me would just by default be Vilmer's death, with the plane, I'm assuming, being ridden by one of the members of the secret society coming down, swooping down, and I guess just cutting into his head. And this dude gets killed by a fucking, plane propeller. And it's like, okay. It's like at that point in the movie, I'm just accepting anything. I'm like, fucking whatever. I did kind of negate the ending of this movie and how, she's at the hospital. She gets picked up by the secret society, and they're just like, okay, you can go. Bye. It's like, do they not think she's gonna, like, tell the police, or I guess they're just super sure of themselves. I don't know, and I don't want to fucking think of it anymore. But yeah, I hate that Marilyn Burns is in this movie, and the fact that this is, I'm pretty sure, the only other time we get her in a Texas Chainsaw movie. And we get her for like 2 seconds. She's on like a stretcher. And it's that. I'm like, that kind of sucks, you know? Unfortunately, we did lose Marilyn Burns, and I hate that, you know, the last time she gets to be in Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is this fucking piece of shit. So that also sucks. So another point taken off of this abysmal fucking movie. But yeah, man, that'll do it for this review. Again, I don't like being completely negative, but fuck, man, sometimes you just get a stinker, and this movie is an absolute fucking stinker. But, you know, I know you guys like watching me review pieces of shit, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Beyond my complete disdain for the movie, I did enjoy ripping it apart for you guys. And yeah, man, thank you as always for stopping by, supporting the channel, supporting the dream. It truly does mean the world. And yeah, man, hopefully next time we talk something a little bit better than this. So without further ado, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and for the love of all things gory, keep watching horror. All right, guys, have a good day.